Many years ago, and it wasn't in my time, and it wasn't in your time, but it was in someone's time, there lived in a remote part of Wales a young man. He was a shepherd and spent his days and nights looking after a few sheep that he had inherited from his parents before they died. He was very poor, for the sheep brought him very little income. He had barely enough to eat and clothe himself with. But he had his dreams of a successful future in which he saw himself studying at a great seat of learning and using his knowledge to make a great impression on the world. He dreamed of a world in which all the young people would have an opportunity to go to school and study in order to improve the quality of their lives and multiply their opportunities, just as he himself longed to do. And though he very much loved his sheep in his care, the beauty of the countryside, the passing of the seasons, and the joy of waking each new day, he sensed that there was more in life than this. And somehow he knew that to achieve what he wanted, he would somehow have to make his own fortune. In the summer months he would spend much of his time in the high pastures of the Welsh hills, where it was quiet and solitary. Often he would sleep in the ruins of an abandoned chapel, curling up beside the stone walls, sheltering under what remained of the roof, and protected from the weather by the leaves of the great oak tree that had many years before seated itself in the floor of the old church, and now spread its huge branches and leaf canopy above and beyond the confines of the ruined walls. One night as he slept here, the boy had a dream, and the dream too planted a seed. In his dream the boy dreamed that a strange figure, robed from head to foot in white and green, had come to him and said, "Why do you remain here? If you wish to live your dream, wake up. Do not wait for the world to give you what you seek. Take action. What you want, you must seek. Go to London. On London Bridge, your fortune waits. That's where you'll find it. Go and seek." And the acorn in his mind began to grow, and he sold his sheep, saying goodbye solemnly to each one. He began to plan the long walk to London. He took with him sheep's cheese to taste, and pure Welsh spring water to drink. And with the freshness of the upland smells in his clothes and hair, he set off. He crossed wide valleys and roaring rivers. He skirted sprawling cities and hiked high hills. He traced the tracks of traders, always heading south and east, until finally he arrived at the great metropolis of London town. Now in those days London Bridge was rather different than it is today. It had many, many arches, and on each side of the bridge, all the way across the river, were shops and houses. The bridge was crowded, bristling with all kinds of life. There were merchants standing in the doorways of the shops, shouting their wares. There were horses and carts bringing people and animals to and fro the market, the rich passing by in their carriages, and the poor passing by on foot, peering into shop windows at the things they couldn't afford. All the world was there in all its richness, the sights, the smells and sounds of bustling city life. The young shepherd arrived one day at noon. He had never seen so much activity, or heard so much noise, or felt such excitement in his life. But he was on a mission to find his fortune, so he walked along the length of the bridge to find his destiny. And then he walked back to find where he might have missed it, and returned again, and back again. Time and again, all afternoon and evening, searching for what he could not find. He searched long into the night, even after everybody had long gone home, until, exhausted, he finally slumped down in the shop doorway and slept. He dreamed of his sheep that he had very much missed, until he got woken up rudely at 6 a.m. by a sharp kick in the ribs. "Oi, get up, you little bastard!" shouted the merchant whose doorway the shepherd had slept in. "What's up with you? I've been watching you all yesterday and afternoon and evening. What's up with you? Walking up and down, nosing in all the shops, looking at the cracks of the paving stones, wondering what you might fall off back of the carts. I've a good mind to turn you over to the police. What's your game?" "I came here to look for my fortune," stammered the shepherd. "I had a dream." The merchant rolled his eyes. A small crowd had gathered. "You'll have to do better than that, Sunshine. Tell us about this dream of yours, then." The shepherd explained about the stranger in the white and green robe. "He told me I'd find my fortune here at London Bridge. So I came here with all the way from Wales, sold my sheep, here to find it." The merchant roared with laughter. "Pay no attention to dreams. Dreams are for fools, children, old women, and priests. Take my advice. Get a proper job. Get on with your life. Work and destiny, that's what matters. Move on." "But my dream?" "Listen," cut in the merchant. "Dreams are a waste of space. They're just the devil's work. I had a dream myself last night, but as I cut down my own throat, as take any notice of it. Let me see now. There I was, on a high Welsh hillside, and there was an old ruined church, made of stone, with no roof. In the middle of that ruin grew an enormous tree, an oak tree. And there I see, buried deep under the soil, between the roots of that vast oak, a chest of treasure hidden in haste long ago by a one-eyed pirate. Ha! It's just a dream, a childish fantasy. That's all, nothing else." But the young shepherd had already gone, heading back north and west to the Welsh hills, heading back towards the land of his fathers, towards the sweet-smelling pastures of the uplands he had left behind so many weeks ago. It wasn't long before he started digging. The shepherd never did go to the seat of learning, but he did something else instead. He used his fortune, the pirate's treasure, probability, and in time became a wealthy merchant, the richest in those parts. And with these profits he built schools. He attracted the best teachers. He offered scholarships for the poor. And it wasn't long before that particular part of his native land had as rich a diverse culture as any other place in the kingdom. Today you can still find his statue in the center of town where he built his first seat of learning for the poor and underprivileged. On the pedestal are written the words, "Follow your dream and seek it out. Your fortune may be closer than you think. Notice all that is around you, for it is all there to serve you. Do not dismiss an acorn, however small, for the acorn is the father to the oak."